Hello all you lovely people in internet land, AC from Game Life Balance Australia here, doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to talk to you about the Mysterious Cities of Gold. This is one of my all-time favourite television shows, let alone animated television shows. It was on ABC, Australia's free-to-air government-owned and run broadcaster, in the 1980s on something called the Afternoon Show. It ran for 39 episodes and it was all one big long story. Now back then they had lots of other cartoons like Inspector Gadget or Care Bears and stuff like that, and Transformers, but none of them really had that serial style that stretched over for an entire season. And I was hooked. I loved it, and I still love it today. It is an incredibly clever story. And it was actually a joint France who wrote it and NHK from Japan who animated it. So it's got a, fair to say, bit of an anime look. And so it's one of those interesting shows that actually finished, and it was a good conclusion to the series. They could have done another season, but they didn't. However, 30 years later, and that's right, we waited 30 years for this, they actually released a second season, and then a third season. It was magnificent, and it's good. Not quite up to the original, but it's still pretty good. So today I'm going to talk to you about my collection, but more importantly, I'm going to review some of the medallions that you can now get off the internet. So I, of course, have the DVD box sets. They were never released on VHS in Australia. I think they were in France and in Japan, and they are collector's items. Very, very difficult to get. We have the theme, which is the French theme, and I actually have the background music record from Japan. Music in Mysterious Cities of Gold is fantastic. In Japan it was called Tayo Noko Esteban. But Japanese, for whatever reason, decided to use different music. So my wife, who imported this for me at great expense, it turns out it wasn't the original music, but that was okay because it came with this fantastic poster of Esteban, Tao, Zia, and the Golden Condor. Speaking of the Condor, not many things were released, but this very, very nice statue of the Condor itself is one of the few things. There's also the boat, the Solaris, and a couple of figurines, and that's it. The wings move and the head goes up, but that's about all it does. The only other thing that was really released, and it was released fairly recently in the 2000s in very limited quantities, were the medallions. So these play a massive part in the show, and there is a place on the internet called Shapeways which has started to, shall we say, I'm not sure how legal it is, but let's just say that they don't call it Mysterious Cities of Gold, it's just called Golden Cities or something. They've released some of their own medallions, so we're going to take a look at those today. Okay, this is the first official medallion released, and it wasn't until the 2000s. 999 of these were made. The box looks cool. It is a bit chipped, unfortunately, and it used to have like a little stem here which broke off. And the medallion comes in two bits. The front and the back section, of course, the Crescent Moon and the medallion, which is the key to the Cities of Gold. All 7 of them. And it nests in there quite nicely. Now this is pretty much as accurate as you're going to get. Of course, those who are familiar with the cartoon, the medallion would slide out the bottom, but that's not a functional idea, unfortunately. So this does nest in there pretty well, but it is metal. I think it's gold plated. This one's a little bit scratched on the back, unfortunately, because I used to wear it. I used to love wearing this thing. Now I'm very fortunate. Just take that apart, put that back in there. because I actually have two of these, two of the 999 made. They come up for sale on eBay occasionally, but they're always very, very expensive. I was very lucky I got this second one for about 3,000 yen, 30 bucks in Japan. This one is actually a bit looser, unfortunately. So this is the one that I kind of wear out and about. It's actually quite large. They're pretty big. Very, very reflective. And I put tiny magnets in here. They've got like little kind of vents, which I guess kind of suction it closed. And there we go. That kind of clicks in like that. There is one more official medallion, and it's just a little plastic one from AK Videos in France, and that's the French. No, absolutely no French. So Les Mystérieuses Cités d'Or, and it's just different coloured yellows on plastic, and it's a nice little thing that they gave away when you bought the VHS or the DVDs. I'm not sure which one it was for. Now, these are the Shapeways medallions. So this is the Crescent Moon, and this is probably one of the more popular ways of wearing one of these, because Esteban did in the first third of the first season and all of the second season after they lost the keys. And it's well made, you know. It looks like Esteban's. It is noticeably smaller, and that's a good thing, because these are quite large even for me. I'm like a 6'1", 185 centimeter tall guy, and this still looks very pronounced on me. This is kind of something more that you would see someone of Esteban's age wear. Okay, and lastly, we have the one that actually has the medallion key in the center. This does pop out. This one is made of polished brass, giving it that nice golden look. So it's not plated or anything like that, but you know, fingerprints get all over it. And this one is bronze, silver, steel. So it does have a bit of a golden look to it, but it doesn't look like gold in the same way that the other one does. So once again, quite thin, and it pops out very easily. Now this one looks a lot rougher. It's got a lot more of a matte, kind of all grainy finish to it. And that's very noticeable on the back. It's difficult to pick up on the camera, but there's actually a whole bunch of kind of dots from obviously from the printing process, which isn't great. Now, does the medallion stay in there? Well, the way it works is it's kind of got a step feature. So the corners kind of go diagonally down, so it kind of just rests on top. And you need to kind of force it a little bit, which I'm a little nervous about doing, but yeah, I'm quite nervous about doing it, obviously, because although it's steel, you kind of got to get it in the exact right space, and it makes a kind of grinding sound. So it'll stay in there. And I just got the two that were recommended. When you go to Shapeways, I think other people design them and they print them up and send them out. And these ones, this is just the recommended one when you first click on it. So I thought, I'll just get the recommended ones and give them a bit of a review. So if you did get the polished brass, it would probably look a lot better on this. The problem is though, brass is very malleable. So this would probably you could only put it in and out a couple of times before it might start to just go all the way through. So would I recommend these? Look, this one is pretty cool as a display. I have been wearing these for the past couple of days. My wife has been wearing this one, and it really suits her. This is probably my favorite one, so I would recommend getting this one. And there are lots of different printing options. You can get them even in gold if you want to spend thousands or hundreds of dollars on it. So, you know, you can get them in bronze, steel, nickel, all sorts of things. You can get them in plastic if you wanted to, and they all come at different price points. So look, check it out on Shapeways. It's not under Mysterious Cities of Gold. I think it's Golden Cities or something like that. And, you know, for obvious copyright reasons, but yeah, if you just kind of even tap that a little bit, it falls all the way out. So I would recommend this one. I've been wearing this one. I think it looks cool. It's easy to clean. and it definitely is kind of a bit more suited for wearing than this giant thing here. So I'm Andrew Yoshimura. Thank you very much for watching.